Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Nice.
Very good. So this is the fourth week of our Zoom class. In our previous classes, we have tried to see on or discuss on three main topics: the simple present tense, the conditional, and what was the last one?
Comparison.
Comparison. Yes, degrees of comparison. And I gave you an exercise and you practiced on that, I hope. So today we're going to continue our discussion by a new topic, and I'm going to display a PowerPoint and have our discussion depending on that. There are some students in the waiting room. Let me admit them and then we'll continue our discussion. Okay, can you see the display now?
Yes.
Good. Our today's discussion is going to depend on the two perfect tenses. One is present perfect tense, the other one is past perfect tense. So, in English, if you remember our discussion last time, I said the perfect tense is a tense that needs a helping verb to make it complete. To make it complete, because perfect tense cannot stand by itself, because the main verb in the perfect tense is in a verb 3 form. As you can see, it uses verb 3 form. So if it is using verb 3 form, it means it needs to have helping verb. As you can see here, we have has or have as a helping verb because it is present perfect tense. Present perfect tense, if you want to form the positive statement for present perfect tense, you have your subject I here. Have spoken is the present perfect form because we use has or have, and I is a subject that takes have. I have spoken to Lydia many times this week. So it means you have the subject, you choose has or have according to your subject, and then you use the verb 3 form of your main verb. Verb 3 means past participle, and as I said earlier again, you need to have a helping verb. So if you want to make this negative, it's simple. You put not in between the helping verb has or have and the main verb, verb 3. So I have spoken to Lydia becomes I haven't spoken to Lydia many times this week. If you want to make a question or interrogative statement, you need to put the helping verb has or have in front or at the beginning of your sentence before the subject. Have I spoken to Lydia many times this week? Sorry guys, there is a question mark at the end of this. Have I spoken to Lydia many times this week? Have I spoken to Lydia many times this week? What are the situations that make us use present perfect tense? The first one is an event that begins in the past and continues up to the present moment. For example, most of you have been learning in this school long, right? So you can say, I have learned at Fountain of Knowledge School since maybe 2000, 2015 or something like that, or 2012, or whatever the year is. So that shows that the learning, you being in this school, started sometime in the past and it continued up to present moment, which means you're still learning there. Look at my example. It says, I have been here since 7 a.m. Maybe you have an appointment in an office and then you went there and arrived there at 7 a.m. and the manager didn't come until let's say 9 a.m. So whenever you see him, you say, I've been here since 7 a.m. So it tells that you've been there sometime in the past, starting sometime in the past, and you were there until he came, or the moment, that present moment. In this kind of situation, we use since plus the date and for, which shows a period of time. I've been here for 3 hours. 3 hours is period of time. But if you say I've been here since 7 a.m. is starting time. Starting time. It could be the date, it could be a minute, it could be an hour, but you say the starting time in this situation. The second one is we use the present perfect tense when a portion of time is not completed. A portion of time means, for example, this year, the year has started and we are in the second month in the Ethiopian calendar, which means the year is not complete yet, which means we're left with 10 years. And let's say you've done some kind of action or activity 3 times or 4 times until now, which means you may do it sometime after now and repeat that action again, but the portion of time is not completed. The time that you specify is not completed. For example, when a portion of time is not completed, look at this example. I have visited the zoo many times this year. This sentence shows that this person has visited the zoo many times when this year, but still the year is not over yet. So he may have the chance to go and visit again once or more than once. The keywords today, this semester, this winter, this year. For example, I have visited my Facebook account, or I have opened my Facebook account 2 times today, which means I may open or I may view my Facebook account later, or you can say she has read the book twice this month because she liked the book, so she may read it again before the month ends. The third situation, when there is an action or repeated action in the past with no specific time, the exact time that the event happened is not important. An action happened in the past with no exact time. For example, one of you maybe is living at Summit, around Summit, and around Summit, they moved into another house or another apartment. So you say they have moved into a new apartment. When? The time is not mentioned and it's not that important. The main focus of this sentence is that they have moved into a new apartment to share the information that these people have moved from that specific house to a new apartment. I have seen that movie 10 times. Did this person specify the times? No. The main purpose of this sentence is to tell that this person has watched or seen that movie how many times? 10 times. So no specific time is important. Look at, notice how in this sense of the tense, the action can happen one or several times, especially on the second sentence. In this kind of situation, you can use the keywords like already. For example, when your friend tells you, let's share this food with me, you say, I have already eaten my lunch. And this student is not worried about when or the time you ate. What worries him is if you have eaten or not. So you say, I have already eaten my lunch. I have just eaten my lunch. I haven't seen her lately. Lately, actually, it looks like a little bit time specifying adverb. And these, the rest are used in this kind of situation with present perfect tense, like recently, always, never, yet. Yet means negative. I haven't seen the movie yet, which means the action didn't happen yet. Twice, three times, many times, often, several times. These are some of the adverbial time showing words used with present perfect tense in the third situation. The present perfect tense, the simple past tense. Remember this. Present perfect and simple past tense are two different tenses, and people usually confuse them. These two tenses occupy a very similar place in time. It's very easy to confuse them. The major difference between them is that the present perfect tense doesn't mention exact time of actions. He has gone to Boston several times. The simple past mentions or implies an exact time of an action. Exact time, for example, last month he went shopping to Dubai. When? Last month. When? Last month. But when you come back to present perfect, he has gone to Boston several times. When? It doesn't mention. Whenever you mention an action in the past using specific time adverb, you use simple past tense. Present perfect doesn't go with specific time adverb like last month, yesterday, a week ago, a year ago, and so on. If you have this specific past showing adverbs or words, you use simple past tense, like he went to Boston yesterday. So the second topic today is past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is different from present perfect tense because it uses had instead of has or have. Had is used, of course, I said perfect tenses use the third form or the past participle, which is verb 3 of the main verb. So we use had as a helping or auxiliary verb. For example, I had done my homework. I hadn't done my homework. Had I done my homework? And the other one is interrogative, negative interrogative or negative question. You can say, had I not done my homework? This is not most commonly used, but it is the fourth type of statement, which is negative interrogative. So you use had or had plus verb 3 for all subjects. The uses. The first one is we use the past perfect to make it clear that an action was completed before another action in the past. For example, most of you today have done two things in the morning, let's say. Maybe you cooked your own breakfast. After you cooked it, what do you do to it? You eat it. So you can say, I had cooked breakfast before I sat to eat it. Before I sat to eat it. So the first action is cooking it, and then the second action is sitting to eat the breakfast. To make it more simple, the doorbell rang at last. I had been in the room since breakfast. This person has been sitting in that room like since breakfast. The bell didn't ring, but at last the doorbell rang. So staying in that room is the first action, and the ringing of the bell is the second action. So always when you have two actions in the past, if the first one is completed before the second one, you use past perfect for the first action and simple past for the second action. Look at this. When I arrived there, Sarah had already left. So you arrived there on the place that your appointment was, but when you arrived there, the person who appointed you is not there. So, which means that person left the place before you arrived. So the first action is leaving the place. That person leaving the place is the first action. So you say, Sarah had already left when I arrived there. Or when I arrived there, Sarah had already left, which means I arrived after lunch, Sarah went before lunch, to make it specific. The second is, it is used to refer to an activity that was completed before a point of time in the past. In 2005, I had lived in the same place for 10 years. So I started living there in 2000, before 2005, which means like in 1995, because it says 10 years. So before a point of time in the past. I was saying this maybe when it is 2020 or 2010, after 2005. So you specify the time, but that specific time shows that an action was done before that specific time, before a point of time in the past. Had you ever traveled by plane before your holiday in Spain? So this person flew to Spain for a holiday, and this person is questioned by another person about his experience before a point of time, before he flew to Spain for a holiday. Had you ever traveled? Which means, had you done this traveling before your travel to Spain for a holiday? So that's the point of time, which is specific. So the past perfect versus the present perfect. The past perfect is often used with expressions indicating that the activity took some time, such as for 10 years, since 1995, all week, all the time, always. When the plane landed, Tim had traveled all day. So the plane was traveling all day or flying the whole day. Tim was on it. So Tim had traveled all day when the plane landed. My parents moved away from Hawassa. They have lived there since they got married. Your parents were living in Hawassa, but they have moved away from Hawassa now. So you say they had lived there since they got married, but now they are not there. Yes?
Yes, Mr.
Yes. Is there a question?
No.
Okay. Okay, let's continue.
No.
So these expressions are also used with the present perfect. The difference is, however, that the present perfect refers to events that start in the past and still continue. Don't confuse yourself, because it says since right here. My parents moved away from Hawassa. They had lived there since, it says. This since doesn't show that the action is still continuing, because it says my parents moved away from Hawassa. Moved is in the past. So which means if they moved in the past, the action before it is in the past perfect, which is living there since they got married. So you say they had lived there since they got married. The past perfect tense expresses events that began before a point of time or another action in the past and continue to that point of time in the past. I have been in Paris for a week. What does this say? I came a week ago and I'm still in Paris. I have been in Paris for a week and I'm still enjoying my stay in Paris. It means when I met Abel, I had been in Paris for a week. So I came to Paris a week before I met Abel and I'm not there anymore. It means when I met Abel, I had been in Paris for a week. Had been means this is a past experience. But when you say I have been in Paris for a week, it means you're talking about your current present experience. You're still there. So, guys, that's all about present perfect and past perfect tense. Don't confuse them. As I said earlier, the form is different in only one situation. If it is a past perfect, you use had, but if it is a present perfect, you use has or have according to your subjects. And these subjects may vary from one another. Sometimes you may use third person singulars. If you are using third person singulars, you're going to use has with the main verb in a verb 3 or past participle form. But when you come to past perfect tense, you're going to use had for all subjects, no matter what, and you're going to use a verb 3 form accordingly. If you have any question, it's time to ask. Is there any question?
No.
Jerry, is there
No.
No.
Jerry, no question?
Yeah. Yelling.
Yelenge means Amharic.
No.
Okay, I don't have a question is the appropriate response anyways. It's okay. So if you don't have any question, well, as I always do, I have a practice time questions. Are you ready to do that?
Yes.
Good. You're going to practice
Yes.
sentences, changing sentences into or using the correct forms of the present perfect or the past perfect. You see these 5 statements, yes? 5 sentences? Yes? Okay, so you're going to use the correct forms of the verbs in bracket and complete the sentences. And make sure you use the correct form. It could be present perfect or it could be past perfect. Make sure you use the correct one. I'll display it for you. Is there any question? It's clear, yes? Students, do you have any question on the exercise?
No.
It's clear, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, good. Finish up. You have 5 minutes to finish up.
Mister, is this the only question? Mister, ጥያቄውን አሳየን።
አምስት ጥያቄ ብቻ ናቸው።
ሌላ ጥያቄ የለም ሚስተር?
So you finished?
Yes.
አምስት ጥያቄ
Okay,
ናቸው።
so for today I have only prepared 5 questions so that we can discuss together. So is there anyone who can try number 1? Don't ask me to display the
got up.
questions because you have finished.
He got up as soon as he heard the alarm clock.
Who's that? Tell me your names
Okay.
before answering the questions.
Saint-Pierre.
Saint-Pierre. Nice to see you on the Zoom class. So can you try again? You said he got up as soon as he heard the alarm clock. Can you correct it again?
I didn't hear what you said.
Can you correct it? Saint-Pierre,
Yes.
can you correct it?
My answer was he got up as soon as he heard the alarm clock.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not correct. So the first answer is correct because you have used simple past, but the second one is not correct because that was the first action. Do you have an alarm when you wake up?
Yes.
So which action happens first? You waking up or the alarm?
The alarm?
So if the alarm is the first action, then what do you say for that? I mentioned it in our discussion. Anyone who can correct it? Anyone who can correct it? Nati Sol. Can you correct her? Nati? Are you listening to me, guys?
Yes.
Yes, mister.
Okay. She said the alarm is the first action. When you wake up, first the alarm rings and then you wake up. If that is the situation, always when there are two past actions, the first action is expressed by past perfect and the second one is expressed by simple past tense. So he got up as soon as he had heard the alarm clock. So the alarm rang and then what happened? He woke up. So, or he got up. So the first action takes past perfect had heard. Can you try number 2? Anyone who can try number 2? Lu'ul Fanwe. Lu'ul Fanwe,
Yes.
can you try number 2?
Can
I
I
have
try?
worked here since 2009.
Yes, I have worked here since 2009. Because this one, there is no specific time that shows that the action is in the past. So you use present perfect tense. I have worked here since 2009 and it shows that the action is still continuing. Okay, let me call another student and that student will be Fitsum. 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 I see a name that says Fitsum. 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 Okay. So the third one, can you hear me?
Yes.
The third one says Marta blank her meal by the time I blank. So what do you think?
Had finished.
Marta had finished her meal by the time
I arrived.
I arrived.
arrived. Excellent. Because when you arrived, the food was already finished or the meal was already finished. So the first action is finishing the meal and the second action is you being there or arriving there. Because we don't have time, let's make it fast. Number 4, we blank until we blank the destination. Not stop and reach are the verbs. We blank, not stop. Sorry?
We can't stop.
No.
We had not stopped.
No, listen.
We did.
Listen. Listen to me. You're going somewhere and always there is a destination. When you go somewhere, there is a destination. For
Haven't
example,
stopped. Haven't stopped.
no,
We will not stop.
it's in the past. It's in the past.
We didn't stop. We
Excellent.
didn't stop
We didn't
until
stop.
we had reached.
Yes, we didn't stop until we had reached the destination. We didn't stop until we had reached the destination. What about the last one? He dashed many trees so far this year.
He had planted.
This year. The year
He
is
has
not
planted.
over yet.
He has planted.
He
He
has
has planted.
planted. Excellent. Yes. The time, when the time is not over yet, specific time, we use present perfect tense. So he has planted many trees so far this year. I'm going to display the answers for a minute and then you can copy them. I think you have copied the questions. Here are the answers. Okay, students, thank you for your time. And I hope I'll see you next week. And for now, make sure you stay home and you stay safe. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mister. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Mister.